we use,
So is that a city road? Is that a city road?
yeah, so if you open that up. We basically drove to the city boundary and all the roads are trying to with the city boundary that we currently have. And so that's what we were trying to do is just do everything within the city.
And I just didn't know that that's where the city line had been moved to. So, yeah, it's good to know that.
Sorry, I muted, so hopefully it
No,
doesn't
it
cause
wasn't,
you
it
issues.
wasn't you, it was the laptop.
Okay.
Or user error. I can blame it on the laptop.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, really quickly, a couple of other things this does do. I'm gonna turn all this off. Is it gives you a traffic sign inventory. So you have an inventory of all the signs within the city. Public Works can use this to make sure signage is placed correctly. It could also, you can also go through and say, okay, I have 16 signs that are stickered. We can go pull those stickers off. Let me get a good example of that. Sometimes they like picks up little tiny smudges on the sign as a sticker. There's one. So there's a sticker on that one, so you could go pull those stickers off. There's some dirty signs here. So dirty typically sometimes means faded in this case. And then there's hidden. You can see which ones are hidden. So there's some tree trimming on some of these that needs to be done. To clear the stop signs so you can be able to see it.
Not my thoughts, but.
Yeah, so you can see every stop sign that needs a little tree trimming, things like that. And what Public Works can do with this data is basically they can fix those signs and they can go drive it again and it will automatically update the system so that it's up to date.
It almost seems impossible, but I think it's really cool.
Let me tell you a story. Before I came to Ephraim City, I did internships with UDOT. I did multiple internships with UDOT. 3 of those years, I did sign inventories for UDOT. I drive around to every sign, I GPS them, I take reflectivity, I take measurements, all of that stuff. With UDOT, I GPSed over 8,000 signs in 2 summers. This is just a drive-by, literally as fast as you could drive. It picks up the sign inventory, what it is, what condition it's in. This would have saved me lots of hours.
Wow.
But that was probably like in the 60s or something.
Ouch, jeez.
Probably not.
I only turned gray after I took this job.
The other cool thing it does is it gives you all of your manholes within the city. So you have a picture of every manhole in the city as well. So you can click on that, you can see the manhole in the road, you can see if it needs to be raised or lowered, things like that. If there are issues with with a manhole or sign or anything within the city, Public Works can use this software as a basically task management system. So if there's an issue with that manhole, you can create a task. You can put a title in there, you need to go fix this manhole. And then the person that gets assigned that task can go fix it and then check it off once they're done. And that way Public Works can keep track of what they're doing out in the field if they want to. That's just an added value to the software. It's not necessarily saying that Public Works has to use that functionality. But it does give you that option as well. I won't go into everything. There's a lot more that can be done with the software as far as the council is concerned. The condition assessment is probably the best component on the politics side at least. So you can understand the overall network of your roads within the city. So just to summarize, your EMI score is 2.32 on an average over the whole system, which is actually one of the best I've seen. There's other cities that we've done this for lately that are like in the almost 5 range, which is pretty hard to come back from. So very good work on the Public Works side, engineering side in maintaining the roads so far. And the software is only gonna help them continue to do that in the future.
I wonder if it can identify places to put hospitals and gas stations.
No.
Dang it. Not yet.
A quick question, does that give you a total length of roads that's surveyed?
Yeah, so we surveyed 30 miles.
30?
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
Wow, just by driving it.
Yeah. Any questions from the council at all?
It's just a presentation, but we're ready to vote.
McLean, how long does technology like this last? Okay, say that we purchase this,
Yeah,
how long is it good for?
Who could predict that?
what, as far as adapting to technology, I mean? So this is actually using machine learning, so the longer it's used, the better it gets. So the software company Violytics that we partner with, they're continuing to come out with new innovations literally by the month. One of the cool things they're working on right now is being able to map all of the paint striping within the city. So that'll be a new feature coming out in the coming months.
So is that automatically uploaded
Yes,
into the program?
yeah. So once they update it, your imagery that is already driven is gonna get analyzed again. And then it'll automatically populate that paint striping for you. So they're continuing to innovate. So your question on how long does it last? The more they continue to innovate the product itself, the better it's gonna get. I don't see these guys really going anywhere because they're backed by Volkswagen out of Germany. That's where their funding comes from. They have thousands of miles of road throughout the country and throughout the European countries as well. So
Who is this data shared with?
as far as so
Is it self-contained within the city? Or is the data uploaded to,
it's uploaded to a cloud through Violytics, so it's all housed on Amazon servers through their cloud system. Amazon's pretty well known for it's AWS, known for their cloud storage, very confidential on that side. The other nice thing about this is on the confidentiality side, it automatically blurs out faces for images, so your image data automatically blurs out any images of people and license plates. So as far as the confidentiality of your citizens as well, it's blurring out all of that data automatically for you.
And this is an internet software, so anybody with any mobile device, internet device can use it. As far as logins, we'll each have a login that we use internally and things like that.
And the city's in control of who gets that ability. So it's not like somebody from the public can access this information. It's only by a login basis. So you have to be invited to the software to have access to it. And it's important to keep that circle a little more tight knit within the city staff, city council, whoever you want that to be. I'm not in control of that and let city staff kind of take that on, but it's as simple as an invite to the software and you can log in. There's different rights that you can assign. So you can assign someone to be an editor who can do all of this, or someone who can just view it, or somebody who can only, here, I'll pull it up actually. There's different roles. So admins, global access, editor means they can edit to-dos, so the assignment tasks only, and then the viewer can only view what's inside the software itself.
So it's pretty simple if we, like build a road. It's pretty simple to add that then, isn't it?
Yeah. The one thing you will have to wait for, because what happens is this uses Apple Maps. And so once Apple Maps puts that road on their mapping software, then you can go drive it. Because the phone, when it takes pictures, it needs something to tie those pictures to geolocation wise.
Interesting.
So, any other questions?
Any questions, Councilman?
So who'll be doing the camera? Will that be
Yeah.
on a new street?
So it started at first, and it gave us the initial data, but going forward, it'll be in Public Works
Okay.
that runs the camera. So this is something that we've already purchased as part of our road
Regular
maintenance
budget.
stuff. So this will be an ongoing, like an annual subscription type of thing.
What is the annual subscription price?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Wasn't that the $3.50 per year?
Yeah,
Yeah, what was the,
I don't remember off. I can get back to you on that. I have it in my office, but I can get back to you.
So it's less than the startup price,
Yeah.
because that included some data collection. So pretty reasonably priced compared to other packages that we've looked at.
And a lot cheaper than having somebody go out every year and doing, well, you're getting a lot more than what a person can go get, but it's a lot cheaper than sending somebody out every year to go assess.
That's time saving thing for the
especially with
Public Works.
prehistoric measures like
Yeah.
Ryan had to do.
So we appreciate working with the city though. The reason we brought this tool on and made the partnership with this company is we see the value that this can bring cities on the public work side, the engineering side, the political side as well, just helping cities out and basically improving the quality of life where we all live. So
Is there other cities that are doing this?
Yeah, right.
Around here?
right now in Utah, we have about 20 clients so far, between counties, cities and towns. So, and that's growing, of course. So,
This gives you a lot of benefit for the dollar, right? A lot of bang for the buck.
And it's time saving.
Compared to other options we've looked at,
Gross
this
department.
is pretty efficient, pretty valuable.
Okay, thank you. McLean.
thank you.
Moving on to consent items, item number 1, awarded bid at 550 East Sidewalk Project, Brian.
Okay, we discussed previously in the work meeting, this is a project for sidewalk and the cul-de-sac at 500 East, like the 100 North. This is on the south side of 100 North as you're driving up from the stadium. That sidewalk is old, ancient, falling apart. It's caused some accidents and injuries in the past. There's significant settling and some of the other factors. As I mentioned previously, we tried to do this last year. When we got bids back, we didn't have enough funds to do it last year, so we reevaluated this year, and we got 2 bids back. Todd Alder and North Star, or excuse me, True North Excavating. Todd was the low bid, his was just over 58,000. And True North was just over 80,000. So the staff is recommending that we award Todd Alder the low bid for this. The deadline for completion will be later this spring. For them, so
May 2025 or?
May 2025, yeah.
Is this including asphalt or?
This is sidewalk and curb only. We'll need to come back through with the street project separately. We're trying to coordinate that with our street projects and our planning for that. There will be some asphalt patching that needs to be done when this is finished.
Okay.
That's quite a difference in the bid.
Hmm.
So,
So we are asking for a motion to award the bid.
Any questions, council members? Looking for motion?
I have motion that we award the bid for the 500 East Sidewalk project to Tyler, or to his name, Todd Alder. Not Tyler.
Tyler won't be happy if we give it to you.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Councilmember Bill, second by Councilmember Perry, all in favor.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 2, business license revocation discussion. Megan.
Thanks, McLean.
Sorry, I was trying. One more time, so there we go. Would you like me to just read the?
Sure, whatever you wanna,
Okay, that'll just give an overview.
okay,
So on November 1st of 2023, Ms. Bonnie Nelson, along with other business owners here in Ephraim. She is the proprietor of Nelson Investment Rentals, which operates multiple rental locations in Ephraim City. She was notified to renew her business license for the 2024 calendar year. Ms. Nielsen promptly paid the renewal fee of $65. Usually they are considered past due January 15th. She paid prior to that. Due to the transition into a new system, we requested more information than in previous years. Although it was consistent with what is typically required for initial applications. This was necessary to ensure that all records were current. We have been running into a lot of prior business licenses that either did not have right phone numbers, email addresses, so they weren't getting our notifications. We have engaged in numerous discussions with Ms. Nielsen through email, mail, and in person, requesting the necessary information. While she did provide a list of her rental unit addresses, many of which had not been updated since her license was issued in January of 2010. And just so for clarification, when you have a rental or landlord business license, all of your properties fall under one. You don't have to have a separate business license for each property. That's just a convenient way to do it for our property owners and landlords. So we just needed the list of what properties needed to be included with that license. But she has declined to sign the renewal application, citing concerns about government overreach. We have offered assistance in completing the process electronically. You know, we kind of switched what we were doing, so we've tried to be pretty lenient with people this over this last year. And without the need for additional information, but she has declined our help. As a result, Ms. Nielsen has been operating without a valid business license in violation of Ephraim Municipal Code 3.04.040, stating that it is required to have a valid business license. Since January 1st, 2024, Please note that renewals for the 2025 calendar year will begin next month. As a note, operating without a business license within Ephraim is a Class B misdemeanor. Per Ephraim Municipal Code, revocation or denial of the license, only the city council may deny the application for a business license. Staff recommends that city council vote to deny the business license renewal application 1043, that's the number of her license, based upon the finding that the applicant has failed to comply with the conditions and requirements of Ephraim Municipal Code. Alternatively, the council may choose to allow the applicant additional time to complete the required signature. Should the council prefer this option, staff recommends that the council set a firm deadline for the license to be signed and finalized.
Any questions, council members?
We're just waiting for the signature, or is there other information that we're trying to get put in?
Because we're saying there's without the need for additional information.
So we're lacking the parking that's provided. We require 2 off-street parking spaces when people rent, just so there's not
Congestion. and
yeah,
stuff.
overfill onto the streets, especially in the winter months. She has not wanted to provide that. We also require, we've asked for at least a rough estimate of occupants in each unit, just because we do have occupancy limitations, like 1 family or no more than 4 unrelated people in a single home. Just, that's part of fire code, making sure everyone fills that out when they sign up for an application with us, to make sure, like, if it's an Airbnb or student housing or things like that, they just provide that information. We've told her before we would accept just a signature at this point, just that she agrees to operating under Ephraim City Code. But we have yet to receive that, so whatever council decides in that regards, if you would like the required information, or if you're willing to just accept a signature, we would be happy with either.
Has she asked for any more information on any of it? Just will not sign it.
Any other questions, council members? I think we have Bonnie here. Bonnie, do you want to come up and address this?
I won't come up, but I'll say, from this, you painted me pretty much a renegade. But anyway, I would like to present to you some information tonight as to why I haven't completed the application for a license.
Okay.
And I've asked my son Cameron to do that because I can't hear very well. And I've had pneumonia and can't talk very long either, so I've asked him to do that.
Okay, thank you. Cameron, 5 minutes. Pardon? 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. For those that don't know me, I'm Cameron. I'm one of the 7 sons. I am the favorite son. I can approach and give you what I'm presenting.
You bet.
Have any of you had the opportunity to go through the online application for a business license in Ephraim?
Not recently. I haven't recently. I don't know about the other councils.
So that's basically what this is right here, at least for the landlord portion. So on page 1, the submission, I'm assuming that Ephraim City put that in mitigated business license, right?
Yes, that
Okay.
was, we mitigated, or we transferred some of the information over from
Okay,
our.
I just wanted to point that out so that I understood that you guys have access to be able to put stuff into here, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
limited information, yes.
Okay, all right, so then we go to page 2. And one of the questions I've asked is DBA. You see what my mom's answer is there? She doesn't have a database administrator. Why can't we spell out what an acronym is? They should be asking, what is your doing business as name, and it should be spelled out. Go to page 4. The Bonnie Nielsen Rentals addresses is the list that she provided. That the city uploaded into the database, right?
Yeah, we
Into the
entered
system.
it for her. She brought the list.
She bought the list,
And
and she
we
was asked to
entered
do,
it, yeah, and we scanned it in
and
there. Yes,
uploaded in there.
yes. And we just manually entered it into each field. Think down below, there's a space for each.
You guys manually entered in the addresses for each one of the
Yes,
apartments
from the list,
from the list that she provided.
from the list that she.
Because there's, I think, 8 of them there. I don't know if you combined some together based off from,
I think we did, there were several that she had listed as combined, like, I'm assuming the ones for 20, 30 and 40 west, 300 north, she
Yeah.
had like
I
that. Yeah, so I'm assuming that was a triplex.
she said she didn't put the brackets.
Oh, okay, that must have
So I'm
been,
assuming you guys.
the business license official must have done that.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway, she had provided that list. And then, and I guess that's the reason that there's the 8 that are listed, because there's more than 8 rental groups. And then the other thing was a copy of the check,
Right, yes.
which you admitted got paid right off the bat.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, so as we go down through it again. So then on page 5. Probably page 4 and 5, yeah, it's asking for number of dwelling units. I don't know what that means. And I'm sure she doesn't know what that means. Does it mean the number of bedrooms? Does it mean the number of apartments? Does
That's
it
what
mean
I
the number
guess.
of
is
houses?
Each
I don't
unit
know what
is
it
an
means.
apartment. Or house, whichever you're putting in there.
And that's what I'm saying. I think there could be a definition there spelled out. The information that you're looking for.
Right.
The same thing with the number of occupants in the unit. Is that the number of occupants in the apartment, in the bedroom, in the building? And then the number of parking stalls. She's got lots of old houses. I can guarantee you, there's 2 parking, off-street parking for everyone, I know that. But some places may have places for 12 cars. I think this just should, online's great if you spell it out. And then don't expect an 87-year-old woman to have to do online stuff. The letter that originally came out, the email that originally came out said that exclusively, that's the only way it's gonna be done. I think Ephraim City needs to look at different ways that they can do that they can accommodate their citizens. What if somebody doesn't have an email address? What if somebody doesn't have a computer?
We did offer, like even Warren came in, he was having difficulty, he came in and we helped him do it. So we
Sat
have,
down to him, right next to him. And
yeah,
helped him do
and
it.
we have done that for multiple people that were finding it confusing or hard. That has always been, we're more than happy to help anyone through the process.
And I found an email saying that she's welcome to call you. But she understood it, that when she came in and brought that list of apartments and proved to you that she had paid the fee, that it was done. That's the way she understood it. And didn't hear anything else until we get this letter.
We have notifications were sent electronically. And I talked to her in person several times that she came in to pay her utility bill, telling her that we still needed that information.
Okay.
And we've sent an email once a month for the last 6 months.
I looked through all the emails today and I could not find, I found one. And I know that email is not perfect. Because I sent an email to the city office on the 9th of this month asking for some information. And I've never gotten a reply back.
My apologies, I just.
Well, and I'll give that to you, so that you understand what I'm after.
Yeah.
I know personally that this online business license renewal was very painful, because I had to do it for my business. In years past, it's taken me 2 or 3 days to get my business license. This year, it took me 10 days. And I was on it every time that I got an email. Once I started out getting those zip flow emails and didn't have no idea what the hell they even were. And that's what she first got too. After you sent the email on the November 28th, I think is what it was. A few days later, she got the zip flow email. And she replied back to him, I didn't solicit for this, because she didn't know what it was. So that's it with the way that I see it. You guys are expecting an 87-year-old woman to go to an online format, and I don't think it's fair. And I think it's a bully action to drive her in like this. I guess that's, for right now, that's all I've got to say. You guys can decide what you're gonna do.
And you couldn't get to the bottom of it
That's-
unless you filled out everything that had an asterisk by it.
Yeah, that's all these
It was
questions that I
basically
talked
the
about. She couldn't even sign the application until those are filled in, because if you look at the bottom of it, it says that all of those things that have the little stars on them is mandatory information. You didn't know what to put in.
Yeah, you can sign, it just won't move forward, but we can manually move it forward.
Well, we don't know that.
I mean, I expressed that to her. So.
Yeah, right there it says on the bottom, hold up. Because everything that has a red asterisk has to be completed. So she couldn't sign. And that's just on the application. Later, isn't there another signature that she puts on? Once this is all done, and all the steps are processed,
No,
this is the only one?
she signs and then, some, places need a fire inspection. We would have either orchestrated that or we would have just issued the license to her email.
Well, and see the fire inspection fees on here.
Yeah, it's so on our end, some rental units do need them, others do not. So we usually consult with the fire chief, and then we just take that fee off, so it's not actually applied to her. So that's on like our end and we just remove it.
Okay. So what would you like us to do?
So on the, let me ask about that. Sure. So like on the parking and stuff like that, don't we already, doesn't the city already have that information when we give them the right? Who makes, I thought they had to have so much parking for each building.
They do.
Right, but isn't that documented in the city when they build it or whatever?
If they build a new building, we have that information. If they convert an existing house or have used an existing house historically, we've asked them to provide that information.
So that information, some of these, they've done them for years, so why would the parking change from this?
So, to clarify that. So when I took over business licensing, it was on the backs of 2 people or 3 people that, some of it was kind of more, we kind of piecemealed it as far like, because Devin was trying to do it when he was also city planner. So there were a lot of holes and gaps and information that was not collected that should have been collected back then. So I've just recently completed the certification to be a business license official, meaning I've been doing training for 4 years. So I go to a conference and we learn what state law and all that is applying to a business license. So when we transitioned to a new online system, we realized there were many holes and gaps information that had been collected over the years. Just in either not knowing or someone else took the payment, there wasn't always a designated business license official. So to make sure that we had proper information on all the rentals, we share that information with the fire chief so that if he ever gets called out to an apartment or things like that. We did ask them for more information this year than we have in previous years because there was a lot of information lacking and we wanted to make sure everything was up to date. But now, for this year's renewal, everything will already be in there and they just have to go through and update what needs to be updated. So we realized it was a little bit, it was more than what we had asked in years past. It was a new system. We have been totally willing to bring people in, walk them through the application, help them do it. I just had Matthew Cox in doing his. He couldn't figure it out on his phone, so I called him in my office, walked him through it, got him taken care of. He had a business license before he walked out of the office. So.
And
Okay, so like next year, so say she fills all this out, does all the parking and all that. Next year, does she have to do that all over? It'll be done?
It'll be done
Only
unless
time
she
she-
adds a new unit
Right,
to her,
unless she has-
yeah.
My other
Or she needs
question,
to remove one.
my other question is, how hard would it be to put paper definitions added for like next year?
Like,
like dwelling unit,
I-
what the unit.
I totally understand that there's a lot of
also
people
more of
that
like a explanation by the,
Or you can hover over it. maybe.
Just-
yeah, so there are several ones that do have question marks where you can hover over it.
right, I understand.
Yeah.
My question is something in paper, something for the people that don't have the internet or don't have a computer.
Or even a paper
I
option.
think we have to have I myself think that we have to have a paper option because there's a lot of people that don't have them. There's a lot that can't afford them. And I just think for the ones until the time comes when it's available, we have to have a different option for them. And I understand you try to work with her, but maybe a paper given to them that they can work with a son or somebody else to explain it to them. Just something that's, you look at this and it's easy for some people to understand what they want, but that's my thoughts.
I mean, the
But
only-
that's just my,
the only reason why we switched to all online is because we were spending a lot of money and a lot of time entering it all manually, but I understand where you're coming from. We have had people come back and I've entered it for them as we've spoken, but we could probably provide a paper and then we on the back end could go and enter that information in.
On a case by, like as needed.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, looks like all you're asking for is signature.
We would be happy with a signature.
Two signatures.
Could you bring your mom in tomorrow to just sign the paperwork?
I'm sure she didn't hear anything that was said.
I'm sorry.
You want to come in tomorrow and sign paperwork? And it's, let me talk to her about the statement
Okay,
that's on there. I don't think that there's gonna be a problem. I don't think that's the same statement that was on the paper application from the year before. I think if you look back and
I'm
look
sure,
at the
I'm sure.
statement.
Yeah,
it
things
is
get
not the same.
updated, so I'm sure there were some differences.
what's your guys' thoughts on what I was talking about or?
Well, and I think that's addressing the main, I'm still a little concerned about the government overreach and if you feel bullied and that kind of thing, but if this isn't working, can we, on a case by case, provide paper? If she's desirous of getting a license and we're desirous of granting a license, let's figure this out.
Or come sit side by side with Megan, give her the information and Megan types it in.
And I think Megan's more than willing to do that.
Yeah.
We just need But at this point, where it'll, the whole process starts over again November 1st. But at this point, all we need is for Bonnie to sign for her business license. And am I right on this?
You want me to go online and sign it? It says that it's expired.
Yeah,
You want me to have her?
I can, if you wait until tomorrow, I can kind of
Open it back up?
open it back up,
reactivate it?
and she can sign it
Or-
online. That would be great.
Or do you want her to, I mean, does she feel comfortable with coming in?
Either way, if you want to do it online at home, or
Let me talk to her
or
and
you
see
can
what
bring her in.
she's comfortable.
So will you communicate with Megan tomorrow? And either way, we can do it electronically, or if she feels more comfortable, she can come in and do it, or, you know, just sign herself.
Okay,
Is that gonna be all right?
that's. Yeah, I'll talk to her and.
And even if she wanted to not sign electronically, she can sign a piece of paper and I can scan that in and upload
With
it.
that statement on it or something, or you're just gonna take her signature and throw it on any documents you want? I would never do that.
I was just trying to offer. a solution.
And in the future, I would appreciate it if any correspondence that you have with her, that I'm also involved with it.
We will definitely do our best, yes.
Is that,
I'm
is that a good
gonna
solution?
protect my 87-year-old
Sure.
mother with
You bet.
vengeance.
You bet.
Um,
Is that a good solution?
I will talk to her. I don't see that there would be a problem.
Okay.
I don't think, because the statement that was on the business licenses from prior years is different than what this one is.
I'm sure. Things
Yeah,
do get
we had to
updated.
update to be compliant with state code and stuff like that. So it is
And
different.
that's what she had seen from prior years and would not sign. Okay. So, thank you.
Okay, now, Warren, if we don't have a signature, then we'll have to revisit this
Okay,
at our next council meeting.
we can go down that road.
Okay. So, council members, I think we're gonna just table number 2. And we'll revisit, if we need to, we'll revisit it at the next council meeting.
Okay,
Okay, we don't want to do that.
I don't want you to.
Yeah,
And just to clarify, the reason why it was different is because it's what you initially signed on a paper application. When you renew every year, you've already signed that initially. So when we transitioned over to the new system, we kind of did it as almost a new application. So like you were re-signing for that, as opposed to what had just been on the renewal, like you were signing that you were still in business, stuff like that. But that's what is on every new application. So I could try and go back to her initial application, if it was even on there at the time.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I recall seeing that, and it basically was a statement that said, you'll do anything that Ephraim City tells you to do.
Oh, dang, we better take advantage of that.
Yeah. And that's where you're gonna have a problem. Because, I mean, even with this, your city ordinance,
No, we would never take advantage of anything like that. I'm just saying,
doesn't all of the information that you're saying, that you're gathering, isn't that supposed to be in the city ordinance that you're supposed to gather that information?
Yeah.
Isn't the city ordinance supposed to back it up?
and there's a new
Because I read
business
through the city
license.
ordinance and I don't see anything where it says that I, as a business owner, need to provide my driver's license now. And that's what it required on my business license.
That's what it was requiring on business licenses in the past. So we kind of just copied.
Kept that there.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, isn't it supposed to be in the city ordinance that backs that?
we'll check that out.
Because as far as I can tell, most of your city ordinances haven't been updated since 1985.
Yeah, a lot of them have.
Early 90s.
They're in the process with that, and that's why some of these things now keep us in compliance with the state code. You know, so this online application keeps us in compliance, so
Okay.
that's one advantage to having that.
Well, I'm not opposed to online. You can't throw that on 87-year-old widows. You know? Cause I'm the one that, if you think you can do that, I'm gonna start forwarding phone calls from her all the time when she says, hey, I wanna copy something from my computer. When what she means to say is, I wanna print something from my
Yeah.
computer. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 3, approval of the October 14th warrant register.
Okay, I tried to do this in the other meeting, so
Any questions regarding the warrant register, council members?
I'll make a motion that we approve the April 14th, 2024 warrant register.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Bill, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item 4, approval of the October 2nd, 2024 city council meeting minutes. Any questions regarding those minutes?
No questions.
Okay, looking for a motion?
I motion that we approve the October 2nd, 2024 city council meeting minutes.
Motion made by Councilmember Bill,
I'll second it.
second by Councilmember Perry, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, moving on now to council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Perry.
Okay, I met with the cemetery board. Let me find my paper here. We've had a few discussions. We are gonna set up the flags for Veterans Day on November.
Veterans is the 11th, so
We're gonna set them up on November 6th
that sounds good.
and take them down on the 13th at 9 o'clock. So if anybody wants to set up flags or volunteer to set up flags or take them down, the help would be appreciated. They are gonna set up do the military flags too, and at the Pioneer
Oh,
Park. We talked a little bit about flag prices. It's $150 if you wanna get a flag for a veteran. And it doesn't need to be a family member. It can be a veteran that you know that you can do that. We did talk a little bit about hanging the flags up because the fence is starting to take the weight and it's starting to bend a little bit. We just opened the discussion up a little bit. There were some good ideas. One of the better ideas, and I think when we're out there setting them up, we might have some different thoughts because one thing is starting to bend the fence.
the flagpoles are starting
Yeah.
to bend the fence.
Yes, and the other thing is it's very difficult to hang them up and take them down. I mean, you have to loosen them clamps each time you do it. One of the ideas that are, and it's just we're throwing some stuff out. I told everybody just to look at it and see, but one of them that was kind of good that they might try is Ben Gordon was saying about they can pound some stakes in, some steel tape stakes down along the inside of the fence in the ground. I mean, there's some things we gotta look at, some blue stakes and stuff at it, but it is an idea to put them down in the ground and then they're just the heavy duty steel rod sticks up, set the poles over them and take them off.
So what would they do on the asphalt portion?
As far as the stakes or whatever,
On that little middle part that's gravel.
well, we're not, like I say, we're gonna, that was just one idea. There were some other ideas of putting something in the ground, but I said, if you got some ideas, Jeff, everybody that's out there, there was a lot of things discussed, but maybe putting some, just to get a start on it, maybe try one, or whatever we come up with, try one and see how it works. But in the next couple of years, if it keeps going the way it's going, that fence is gonna probably do some damage and gosh, you'd think it'd be be a lot easier than, or I mean, you gotta put the clamps up, two of them, and I mean, it's quite the project to do. We can still do it, but I think the next couple,
Putting a cement collar with a, you know, a little larger pole to set them in is a good idea.
Oh,
so and we talked about that too, and Moroni is the one that I've noticed, because you drive by it all the time. And they got the little cement, if you notice, they'll cement out with a PVC with a cap on them that they put a, you know, and that's a lot easier, it'd be a lot easier. I mean, it's a pretty good part of the day to, unless you give volunteers to do it, but there's a lot of people that help, but we could still use more people. But they talked about it, and we'll talk with Jeff and see if we can come up with some different ideas and maybe start on. Other than that, everything was going good with them.
Just real quick, I got an Eagle Scout looking for an Eagle project. If that cemetery stuff pans out, so.
So maybe we can get with Jeff and, you know, we're gonna go out there on them days. I don't know what day that is, if it's I don't know what November 6th is. Is that a Saturday or?
I
Well,
can
the
tell you right
the fifth is a Tuesday, so sixth has got to be
now, November
Wednesday.
6th is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, so if you're around, Jeff, maybe you can stop out and give us some help on some ideas or something. You know, that's not something we're planning on getting done real quick, but just get the ball rolling on some different ideas. They did talk about the possibility of the trees.
So I've got the dead trees,
Yes,
so that's in the works, and hopefully, have that wrapped up in the next month,
okay.
so.
What are they gonna do with the wood from those dead trees?
That's not been discussed. We haven't officially written anything out. I've just called 3 different, tree companies for pricing. I'm just waiting for the written
Bid type thing.
bids to come in. Get it taken care of. So, I'm assuming that from what I've gathered from the one guy I talked to, his price was cut down, clean up, grind stumps. The whole thing it'd just be gone. So if you guys want there to be a clause in there, you want to do something with the wood, you want just.
No, I just, that was my question, because sometimes they'll come down, cut down the tree, grind down the stump, but leave the tree there.
Yeah, so total cleanup is really what we're after here, so.
That'd be good.
And the utility, they didn't meet.
Okay,
That's about all I have.
okay, thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
Well, I listened to some of the session today from the Capitol, the things that they were talking about. Notably, there was a sad thing talking about with things that have been in the news in relationship to children. They were tightening up, they were trying to do a separate bill, but they feel like they've covered it with the way we prosecute for child situations, child violence situations. They talked a lot about, there's been some studies done on ranked choice voting at UVU for the last 2 years. I think there's still one more year that they're going to experiment in different places. It's a lot of pressure, I feel like, from outside the state of Utah perhaps to have us do ranked choice voting. But I can't say that as a fact, I guess. I just heard that some people expressing the concern that there could be some influence and we need to make sure that that does not come into the decision. And one of the other things they talked about was housing affordability, in particular, the accessory dwelling units were again on how we handle those and make them so that they are still, like sometimes an owner might own the property and then have an accessory dwelling unit that he rents out. And then the owner sells and the accessory dwelling unit is not always taken care of as nice as it should. So anyway, those were some of the things they were discussing. I didn't hear the 4 o'clock general session, but I don't know if they really passed anything. There was just a Senate meeting, so. There was a big energy presentation too, with a couple of different, types of energy. One was called the Green River or something, and it was, anyway. They're looking to make into all sources of energy, as we have stated, needs to be in everybody's portfolio, but they're trying to make it, one was something that's happening in Emery County. I think it was that Green River one, and that's good because it gave people jobs that used to work in the coal mines. So anyway, it's just preliminary at this point in time.
Go ahead.
They may have voted something on the 4 o'clock, but I don't think they did because the House didn't vote. So
In connection with that, I would note that Senator Okerlund passed away.
oh
last
yes,
week.
he did. Yeah.
So he was always a great support to San Pete County and
Yep.
a great friend of Ephraim. So. Councilmember Good.
Just quickly, the library met yesterday, our board did. We did the OPMA training. It's always painful. 3 new board members, and they are great. We look forward to working with them. And we even had elections there for the new board president. What's it called? Chair of board. I was like, president's a little bit elevated. But, and Jenny Harris accepted that nomination. And anyway, so things are well underway there. We have, yeah, I think some good things in the works. Jill and Lacey and Bonnie are the new members, and Michael shared some exciting statistics of things that we're working on, and our circulation numbers and those types of things. Things are really going well. We're partnering, with the consortiums and other things to provide some limited services to nearby communities like Wales, even Spring City, and looking at how we can better serve those populations that don't have a dedicated public
Especially
library.
since do we have the bookmobile anymore?
No.
Yeah, it's no longer. Everything is going pretty well over there, I would say, and yeah, Ephraim, there's no rep tax stuff to report. We'll have another meeting in December, but Ephraim Youth City Council, they're setting up the Spook Alley for Nightmare on Main. It's going to be fantastic. Julie Arnoldson reports they applied for a grant that will give the kids an opportunity to go to a second leadership conference.
Oh, that's great.
They'll keep us posted about what she hears from that. The kids did the fly-in and painted the parking for it. In November, they're doing the veterans signs
Yeah.
as they do each year. So I have some fun, good boards that are doing some great things. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Today, Candace and I and Brian met with the Ferguson group. And we talked about several different things. Right now is kind of a downtime for them because Congress is not in session. And won't be in session until 6th of November, 7th, somewhere in there. Mike did remind me that he listens to our city council meetings. He quoted me. And I went, oh, okay, thank you, Mike. We had airport board meeting yesterday, and Candace will probably elaborate on that a little bit more, but just so that you know, we're changing our airport, the way our airport is managed. Manti City will now take over the managerial role of the airport, and Ephraim will take over the maintenance in terms of snow removal and weed eradication. And Jeff, I know you're throwing daggers at me right now, and I'm sorry, but I know, I know, but it needed to happen. And so
I just have one thing to say real quick. So, we will do our absolute best. But unfortunately, something's gonna have to suffer. Might be something in town, or might be something at the airport. So we'll just have to pick what priorities are. And we'll just we'll just deal with it.
And we understand that. We're all parties are committed to a smooth transition. And, but, starting November 1st is when this will occur. We've met with Candace and has met with, Kent Barton. And, John was there, I think. And who else was there at that meeting? Mayor Bigelow was there. And Mayor Bigelow and I have talked a lot about this in the last week. And so it is the right thing to do right now. Had mayor and commissioner meeting. We still have not hired a landfill administrator. That seems to be hanging out there, and I'm just one voice on the board of 13 different mayors and a county commissioner. And so we'll be doing that as quickly as we can. It's been, the advertisement has been out there. And I'll keep you informed. We've received 15 applicants for our city manager position that closes today. And so Candace and I have talked about which of those applicants of the 15, we're paring it down and we're going to interview 5. And those interviews will probably take place next week. And so I need to know when is the best time for each of you to do interviewing.
And Candace, I checked, it looks like it's not posted now. It came off at 5 or something, or is it through midnight,
The position.
Application.
the position? I just have somebody who may have had some interest, but
It shouldn't have come off because I had it open until filled. Today was just the first review.
maybe I'll talk with you.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't see it, but
I'll be in Yellowstone next week for training,
All of next week.
Sunday to Saturday. So,
The next week would be better for me, but I could do it in the afternoon.
Well, time is of the essence.
John,
And just ask Candace.
Afternoon would be better for me later.
Later in the afternoon.
John will be on Wednesday to Saturday next week. But I presume want to be in person. But maybe-
No, we want you in person. We are not going to conduct any of these interviews online. They've all got to be in person.
When there's 5, we should be.
Are you planning on doing it in one day or are you planning to do it so?
If we could hammer this out on a Friday, because Dennis has all of Friday open. Do you?
You still teach, don't you?
Next Friday, yeah, I don't get back till Saturday.
So you're leaving a week from Friday?
I am Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay, we'll talk, Anthony. Tell me when you're leaving again, Anthony.
But Colby, Chief Zeman is gone all week next week. You heard that word, right?
Saturday to Sunday, is that right, Colby?
Sunday to Saturday.
No day next week could work for Colby.
And Anthony, you're gonna be gone Wednesday.
Wednesday morning to Saturday morning. The flight is Wednesday.
And Chad, if you had your druthers, when would it be?
It'd be in the afternoon. That's a deer hunt. So.
I know.
It'd be in the afternoon would be better for me, but if it's one day, I could probably swing,
Margie?
if you want to do a Friday, wouldn't
That daughter having a knee replacement, but I'll talk to you about that. I think I'll still be fine
Okay,
to be there.
If it was gonna be all week, then that's just gonna be.
so if we did it next Friday,
Which
a
is
week from this Friday, that would mean Colby couldn't be there and Anthony couldn't be there. And I just don't want that. We just need everybody there.
Well, we may have to cut it off till the following week.
What about
Though
Monday?
that following week on Monday. Yeah,
The 28th, Dennis cannot interview until after 4:30. And that really,
so
that
we're
stacks it
pretty
up.
much
at
stuck
night.
on a Friday.
November first, you mean, or?
I wanted to have him hired November 1st. Well, let's, okay, let's set it up for November 1st. Friday.
I have one problem with November 1st. That's the day Burgess Owens is coming.
We could interview him.
We could have him interview them.
On election day?
Can't do it election day. I've already committed myself to the county. So maybe we need to.
Okay, don't hate me on this. What if we did it? This might be. What if we did it November 2nd,
A
which is a
Saturday,
Saturday?
I think. Wonder, I've never done them on Saturday. I don't know
Sounds
what the
kind of fun.
applicants would think.
Well, they wouldn't have to make arrangements with work.
That's true.
And so
it might be easier for the applicants to come that day, like you say.
just start at like 10 in the morning? Or are we gonna do an hour or a half an hour?
It's
It
lunch.
depends on how
catered.
many questions we settle on.
We're paring down the questions now. Let's do 30 minutes. Because I think that's what we did last time. was
And
We
30.
did an hour last time.
Then you have enough time to talk after.
Yeah. It was intense. Yeah.
So let's do November 2nd. And let's schedule them starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Is 10 o'clock? Chad, you okay?
It's fine with me.
Okay. Brian, you're okay with that?
We get 10 and a half.
Yeah, extra pretzels. You get,
I would take.
instead of 2 bags, we get 3.
So we'll be downstairs here in the conference room.
Yeah.
And you've written down those candidates, so if you can get a hold of them and just say, we'd like to interview you on November 2nd. Because if we did it October 26th, then that cuts out 2 people.
Unless we do it on the Saturday. Then there's only Chief Seaman who's,
We'll be driving back.
Yeah, but I want Chief Seaman.
I do too, I don't want to look too bad.
So
If you want me to fly instead of drive,
get Jeremy on the phone.
there you go.
He can fly into Jackson Hole and have you here in 45 minutes.
Get baby jet.
Because I've been in that jet. Tom came to me one day after right after I had had my knee replacement. And he said, you want to go to Brigham City with me? And I went 3.5 hours up, three and a half. I said, Tom, what? How long is this going to take? And I thought, that's my out. And he said, oh, we'll be there in 20 minutes. And I said, we're taking the jet? And he said, yes. And I said, I'm in. So, that was cool.
I don't know if I want the amount of crap that I would probably get if I showed up with a jet.
Guys, I gotta go. My jet's waiting.
I might use it, but
And Ephraim City's got a lot more money than we thought. huh?
So November 2nd. Okay. All right.
And hopefully that works with Dennis.
I can't see that Dennis would have a conflict, and I can't see that Lloyd would have a conflict. So,
So are you gonna give us a copy of?
Yeah. Yep.
Who we're gonna interview?
Yep.
And a copy of the questions each one of
Yes,
us
sir.
are gonna ask? Or
Yep.
Are you gonna ask all the questions?
no. No, each one of you will take turns asking questions.
Okay. But you'll You guys will.
I'll send them all out to you, Chad.
Okay.
And then we'll have a hard copy of it also.
Okay.
So maybe we won't have another council meeting until the 6th. It'll be after the interviews. So
I wish we could swear in our new city man.
Manager that night.
Swear.
okay. That's all I guess that's not all I have. We met with Soap Creek today and they have some interesting business priorities. It's very exciting. And so it was just a great meeting. Learned that and I don't think this is wrong to announce, but they bought Abundance
Oh,
and they're going to be opening it back up.
oh,
Be
that
really
makes
nice.
me very happy.
Yeah, it'll be really nice.
I hope the food doesn't taste so good.
We'll know.
Okay, Candace, what do you have?
Okay, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., Marlon will be in our office for 1 hour for anyone who's having email issues with your phones, your iPads.
Transferring it over?
Yes, to our new email system. We've had an interesting week this week.
So is that tomorrow or is it, because I have it on the schedule for Friday the 18th.
No, he moved it forward. He came into our office and started what, John? Was it Monday? He started changing them all?
So they made a switch on Friday. Was it Monday?
Yeah, I think so. They came in and so,
When it was a holiday.
yeah, it's been a bit of a
So they worked
struggle.
on Thursday and Friday and then helped us get access to everything on Tuesday.
So do we need to set up a time or just? come?
No, Marlon just said he would be there tomorrow at 11 and just open to help anybody who shows up that needs help with their problems with their computer and phones particularly, their laptops and phones particularly. And have any of you been able to get into your new .gov emails?
I was looking at things on Ephraim's, on the Outlook today, but,
Okay, because you can still get into your old one. We have a 1-year overlap.
okay.
But a lot of them, as soon as, a lot of devices, when you try to even get into the old one, it is giving you a whole bunch of errors. So what Marlon's done is he set it up so that you can get into the new one and then you can open the old one also. So for 1 year, you'll have your old box with your new box, but we're gonna try, so start giving everyone you can your new .gov email address. I'm probably even gonna put a email response on mine that just says, my new email address is this.
And there's no dot in between our names anymore, correct?
What is our
Just
new one?
M. Anderson
Yeah,
at
Anderson.
ephraim.gov. So Chad, you will be C. Perry at ephraim.gov. And it's gonna
Not
take.
even Ephraim City, just
No,
Ephraim.
we're gonna, we made it as simple as possible.
Okay.
This is, it will be a bit of a transition, but it will be a lot better once it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, tomorrow is the groundbreaking
Oh,
for
that's
the
right.
Gunnison Clinic,
Yes.
and that's at 12:30.
Okay.
So if any of you can be there for that, that'll be good. Sorry.
And then tomorrow, our new website goes live, probably between 10 and 11. You will not even notice it in the public. 1 minute it will be our old, the next minute it will be our new. We hope it's all seamless. But anyway, if you want to get on and take a look at our new website sometime tomorrow. Let's see, talking about the airport. The meeting John and I had with Kent and Mayor Bigelow went really well, and Kent Barton is so wonderful to work with, such a nice man. And
Very willing
yes,
Yeah.
very well.
and committed to.
Well, I had a fun weekend. Colby had a fun weekend with the airplane that landed without landing gear on its belly, and he and the officer spent some time out there. And
Fuel issues.
yeah, Kent and I spent some time trying to get the NOTAM up, and yeah, John was trying to figure out fuel issues with us Saturday. It was airport all holiday weekend every day.
They were there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah, so just, yeah, we're having a fuel issue. We're thinking it may have corrected itself, but we're gonna have to see about that.
Did we get more?
We got more fuel and they were able to pump it.
Well, was there someone who actually purchased fuel?
No, when Davis pumped
So
it
He was able to pump it before the fuel.
before the fuel,
So-
yeah.
I don't know if it was the system or.
Was that the water that was added into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little low, so put those in it.
So John and I are gonna go down tomorrow when they deliver the new fuel and see if we can see if it's working. I mean, it may be like Laurel and Hardy down there around the fuel. But anyway,
Let me just say something. As near as we can tell, our city manager was spending, and other city staff were spending about the city manager alone was spending about 33% of their time
Sean Terry used to say
at
that
the
too.
airport.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't initiate this transfer. It was actually initiated by a council member from Manti. And as Candace and I talked about it, I said, fine, that's great, let's do it. You know, even though it's gonna cause more of a headache for Jeff. But I
It'll be
think
less of
once,
a headache for the city manager.
well, I think once that routine gets down, Jeff, I think it'll be less of a headache than.
It will. And the tractor will help out a lot. I'm a little concerned about, I know there's no snow plow or mower yet. I don't know if that's still in works. We have a tractor.
We get it November 1st, right? There shouldn't be. any
No, the
snow for
tractor
next
is-
6 months or so.
The
yeah,
tractor's here.
in Manti right now.
Oh,
It's here.
I just meant we take over the maintenance November 1st.
Oh, yes.
Just in
Christmas
time.
Eve, it snows Christmas Eve.
It's to snow this next week, isn't it?
Well, that'll be melting.
Yeah.
So,
So it's just gonna be an interesting transition. There's a lot of things to go over, especially since our capital improvement project list is due for the FAA by November 8th.
did we get that paperwork?
Yes,
Because don't I have to sign it? Or can you sign it?
no, it's actually Kent's creating the account for it.
Okay, great.
So we're gonna have that taken care of. Then the other thing is the airport combined council meeting. Next council meeting, November 6th, we're gonna meet here at 4. And Manti City Council is gonna come over also. And airport board, well, I'm assuming the whole board will come, but at least Ted and Tom will come. And they're gonna present to Manti and Ephraim City Councils both their desire to create an airport board authority. And they went over it in airport board meeting and it was, it's gonna be some work, but I think that it's a real solution to the balance of power at the airport. It will be, I think it will be a really good thing to look into. And so Ted and Tom are working on it and they'll have something to present to the councils.
Tom will also present, I don't know if you were gonna include this,
No, go ahead.
a proposal for a part-time airport manager.
Yes.
That would cost approximately $35,000 without benefits. And so I don't foresee that happening in the near-term future, but maybe in 6 to 12 months.
Are we still entertaining thoughts of expanding the runway, the
Yes.
length, those types of things?
All of those things.
I'm just trying to mentally prepare Can't have much.
Yeah,
chocolate.
I mean, you sit in that meeting yesterday and listening to what goes into the airport and what goes into the capital improvement for the airport. It's a big deal. It's a lot to manage. It's almost like managing a small city in a lot of ways. But you know, they will come and they'll present it to you. And one of the things that was concerning previously is whether an airport board authority would allow, would be given FAA funding. And one of the things that was clarified last night is, yes, it will be given funding, but they have to prove their funding. And so when the airport board authority is established, it has to show the buy-in financially from all parties of both the cities as well as, you know, it can spell out who will do what, and you know, if the cities are contributing in-kind services, that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting proposition, and that's what we'll hear from. So 4 o'clock, November 6th, here. Not quite sure how to set up the room, but we'll figure it out.
Give them this and.
I was thinking the same thing, we could give better, maybe it's better to.
No.
Oh,
We're comfortable.
we got that down there.
We could put them in our lap.
Question. So I was just wondering if this will now fall to Manti.
For the overlay.
We're supposed to create an airport overlay zone where we kind of designate zoning.
They went over that
For the
at the
surrounding
meeting
areas.
because Ted brought the new legislation about
Yeah.
it. And they actually determined that it doesn't affect Manti because the airport's not close enough to Manti for it to affect.
So we still will just.
So, because this is legislation for a municipality and not an airport, was my understanding.
It's
from
also
last night.
legislation for a county.
Yes, and so the county has to create one and Ephraim City has to create one, but Manti's too far away.
Okay, so do they need to be involved with the zoning around it, or is that something we can just do ourselves?
We need to CC them. At least.
Do you have a copy of the new legislation about it?
Somewhere Sean left it. in-
Okay, because they gave it to you last night, didn't they?
I have it.
Okay,
In fact, it's in my car.
And I'm assuming they know about the form that needs to be filled out. If anything, like, wants to happen.
no,
Close to
and
the
see, these are
airport.
all the things we're gonna have to work out. It's all these little details of what they need to know. So if anybody knows something, speak up and we'll make sure we pass it along. Also, Jeremy Hallows and Tom Herbert are going to be, creating a airport safety meeting. They're supposed to be emailing me 2 times. And I will send it to Public Works, Police and Power. And it's gonna be 1 hour, super hands-on, and they are gonna give Manti, City and Ephraim City employees a rundown of things that they just may not know are not okay at an airport. Things that, and how you deal with every circumstance of what you're doing when you go to the airport. Just so that we don't have any liability. And they would like to do it every 6 months for the changing of staff and for the changing of the season. So anyway, it's not like your whole, Colby, it's not like your whole crew needs to come, but a couple representatives at least. I would recommend Power and Public Works come, possible. But as soon as we get those times from Tom and Jeremy, we'll send them out, and then you guys tell us which of the 2 times work out better for you.
Jeff, I've just sent you Tom Herbert's contact information. And he will be a key person, particularly as you ease yourself into this, your department. He'll be a key contact person to let you know, when you go out and plow, there's a radio that you get a hold of that you have while you're plowing. and the different things that we have to do as we go out there. It's kind of, there's some technical things just for safety. We had somebody we actually were doing work on the tarmac this summer. And we had a NOTAM that said, do not land, and a plane landed. And really put in jeopardy those workers that were working on the tarmac or on the runway. And so that person has been cited and an investigation is being conducted by FAA about that.
What about the power staying the same?
No,
The only thing we're taking is the
Maybe.
weeds and the plowing.
So who's gonna do all the power work?
Or we'll have to work it out with Manti Power.
So Manti Power will be taking that over.
I think something that needs to be brought up is police response, because I think we've taken that responsibility, just like the incident the
right.
other day. And so I don't know if the sheriff's office, if that's included in their contract. So that
Probably
may,
not.
that may be something that we would want to discuss in that transition too.
Okay.
So maybe Candace, that's something you want to talk with Kent about.
When fires different.
Jeff has his fire district, and so I'm not sure how far south.
What's that?
Is the airport in your fire district? So that'd be Manti.
And
So we'll be down the fuel too.
so the last thing I just wanted to report really quickly, last council meeting, we talked with Bev about the MOU for the Bishop Storehouse. I did meet with her and we did kind of a very rough outline of what we hope to achieve from the MOU. She has emailed that back to me and a couple days ago. Honestly, I've not had time to even look at it yet. So that is, but she's done that part. Now, we'll look at it and we'll send it to our attorney to have him kind of fill it out to legally create what we want it to, what we want it to say, and then have you review it. So just wanted to update you on that. That is moving forward. And that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Thanks Candace and John and everybody else, Brian, who's doing so much.
Looking for a motion to end our city council meeting.
I'll make a motion that we close our city council meeting.